Reality Check with Craig Price.
Oh, right, sorry.
I'm an idiot.
4 minutes in and I'm already wrong.
I'm like a monkey. Hello, look at me! Craig, shut up.
Hey, I need you guys to do these things.
You're like a beautiful mind. I'm more like Forrest Gump. So Welcome to Reality Check with Craig Price. I am your host, Craig Price. We have another edition of the podcast. A great show for you today. We got David Newman, marketing expert extraordinaire, David Newman, who I have actually used in the past to help with my marketing process because I'll be honest with you, I am not a marketing person. I guess it's because I don't like to be marketed to, so I don't really like to market to people. It's just one of those things in my own warped brain that, I feel like I'm imposing or I'm bothering or I'm annoying people, and I certainly don't want people to harass me or constantly contact me and market to me, so why would I turn around and do the same thing? But it's a necessary part of business if that's what you want to do, is be in business. If you want to make money, you've got to tell people where you are. And then, of course, it bothers me when people say, well, you have to be a brand, which makes me feel like I'm a box of soap detergent, which I'm not even sure that soap detergent even comes in boxes anymore. That shows you how out of touch I am. But the whole marketing process has been a mystery to me. I still haven't even gotten close to getting a full grasp of what I should be doing, what is the most effective. So David really helped me out, helped me figure out some things and show me how I should approach marketing in a little better way, made it much more comfortable for me, made it easier for me to market the way I like to market, which is very passive and very non-aggressive. I really don't like the banging on doors and rattlings and constantly calling people and trying to figure out how to do all this stuff and gather leads. So without any further ado, let's just get to it. David Newman. And I do want to say that the stuff that we'd worked on worked to some degree. The stuff that didn't work was my fault. And I will take full credit that, again, what I learned from you was quite a bit. What I applied worked.
Tremendous. I will take that any day of the week.
What I didn't apply, guess
didn't
what?
work. Didn't work.
Surprise!
Amazingly enough.
Because I have issues with marketing, and I still have that. My dad was a salesman, and he's a great guy, but I also know all the sales guys he worked with. And I know sales and marketing are completely different, but in my mind, it's still kind of the same. They both have the same end. And so I kind of get the sleaze factor
Totally.
from marketing.
It has that bad taste of getting people to do what you want them to do and what they don't want to do, and sometimes that involves parting with their money.
Yeah, and that's where I have the biggest problem, is the asking for money, which I believe is almost 100% sales. I mean, you can do all the marketing and sales you want. Your job is to extract a certain amount of money for a service that you provide.
Indeed.
And for those of you who don't know, I'm here with David Newman with Do It Marketing. And I have to say this up front that for full disclosure, I have hired you to help me in the past.
You have.
And so I have no obligation, since I have given you money to make you look good.
In fact, quite the opposite.
You
quite
owe
the
me.
opposite. Yeah.
Yeah. So
you owe me.
So if I say anything good about you, it's because I actually believe it.
Correct.
Because I paid the money.
It is not a paid professional advertisement.
Though I will do that in future podcasts if people will pay me.
Hey.
If a sponsor wants to come on.
Put me on that list.
Yeah, great. I just write the check out to Price Points.
Got it.
Or Craig Price. Either one. I can cash all checks.
I like it.
So I find that with marketing, I have a hard time trying to figure out what works in general. Because I'm not a marketing person. I really don't kind of connect with the marketing in general. I mean, TV ads don't work on me. My wife is different. She goes in and when she goes to a dinner, she's like, well, I would like either one or two. What's the most popular here? And so she will order She
likes to order wine in general.
Well, she likes to order the most popular wine in general. She will, if she doesn't know, if she has a choice to make, she's going to take what the general population likes, regardless of how good it may be, just in case, because she figures if everybody else likes it, 1 billion people can't be wrong. Well, they can be. I've had a hamburger at McDonald's.
No, exactly.
So as far as marketing, for me, I have a hard time reconciling what works because I don't think that way. So as someone who's just jumping into speaking or just even in business in general, what kind of mindset do you need to have to be the most effective? Not necessarily. I mean, you can't change your personality overnight. I understand that, but there's got to be some things you got to go in there thinking ahead of time. What's going to work the best?
Sure. Well, here's the magic phrase, and I love what you said about marketing in general. To me, there is no marketing in general. There is a palette, if you will, a palette of tools, tactics, strategies, ideas out
4
there.
4 minutes in, and I'm already wrong. That's
palette.
Great.
There's a palette of things. And the same thing with sales, by the way, but my expertise is really more around marketing. From that palette, it is up to you to choose the colors. You need to select maybe 2 or 3 or 4 things. Anything more than 4 things, your head's going to pop off.
But what if you think you're colorblind? I mean, that's what I mean.
Well, but you need to figure out what resonates with your personality, with your preferences, with the things that you enjoy doing. Because here's the bottom line, Dr. Price. Here's the bottom line, buddy. Marketing is something that once you've figured out what are those 2, 3, 4 activities that you find easy, effortless, and enjoyable, does that count as a jingo, lingo?
No, not really.
Okay, thank you.
It's
not an invented word. It's just something that I really believe in.
You didn't jam it all together into one big thing.
No.
And it's not a title of your program.
Easylicious. It's easylicious. It should be easy, effortless, and enjoyable simply because that's the only stuff that we're going to get up and do. Human nature says, if I tell you, okay, 2 miles on the treadmill and 50 push-ups and drink this green seaweed juice, go, 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 you might do that for a day, maybe, as a personal favor. On the second day, when I'm not looking, when no one's looking, and it's like, okay, I got to run 2 miles on the treadmill, I got to do my 50 push-ups, I got to drink this green slimy seaweed juice. You're like, I don't feel like doing that. And then suddenly you don't do it.
Well, that's
and
like me with the sales calls.
Exactly.
I am not good on the phone in general.
So don't use the phone.
Right. But people call me.
Don't make it sound simple. I spent millions of dollars coming up with these theories. If you don't like the phone, don't use the phone.
Well, here's the problem with the phone.
Okay, I'm ready.
People call me.
Yes, they do.
So I can't say, hey, email me, click. That's kind of rude. Though I would love to do that.
Funny. It's kind of funny.
It'd be awesome. I would be like, please email Craig at speakercraigprice.com. I don't want to talk to you because I sound like a moron half the time on the phone.
Right.
Click. They would go, I need to find another speaker.
Right.
Because I know what happens is if I can't see somebody, I'm so used to my stand-up. I need to connect with them, so I need to be able to know when they're going to talk. I need to know when they're going to shut up because there's subtle hints, and so for me on the phone, it's always me slamming on them.
Right.
Even though I'm supposed to, shut up and let them ask questions or talk, and I wait.
Kind of like this interview. I mean,
sort of.
Yeah.
No, it's called Reality Check with Craig Price.
Oh, right. Sorry.
And we've got plenty of time. We're only 7 minutes in. We've got lots of time to fill. And I'm going to give you a lot.
I'm wearing my red clown nose here, so I'm ready.
And it's for your own protection.
Thank you.
And it makes me feel good to see you.
Yes.
Goofy.
Clowny.
But it's one of those things where as far as the sales, it's something that's has to happen because sometimes marketing does happen to you.
Yes. Well, let's take that for a second. That's a great point. I think this has everything to do with knowing your buyer population. Some buyers, and this is about knowing your market, knowing your audience, knowing who is on the other end of that phone call or email or letter or postcard. Understanding how they like to operate and marketing and selling to them in the mode that they prefer, not the mode that you and I might prefer, but the mode that they prefer. There are some cultures and there are some professions and there's some job descriptions where they're simply much more attuned to the telephone than to email. And there's others, very different, that are much more attuned to email than they are to the telephone. I'll give you 2 quick examples, if I may.
Yes, go ahead.
So imagine that you're talking, you're trying to get through to, let's say you're someone who's selling products in a school environment. So your audience is school teachers and administrators and principals. Well, those folks are typically all over the school. They are very rarely by a telephone. If you've ever been in a school environment, your kids are in school, whatever, teachers and folks like that, they're not by a phone. They're much more tuned into email, right? So they are not really available. You look at some other folks, like let's say you're selling software or services to sales professionals or sales managers. Those folks are typically glued to the phone.
They live on the phone.
They live on the phone.
If they could get one implanted in their hand.
Exactly. if you understand your typical buyer persona and what makes them tick and what they prefer, that's the channel that we should use. Now, you and I are both professional speakers, and we work in the world of professional speakers. So I'm going to give you a speaker-specific example. There was a study done probably about 3 years ago now through the National Speakers Association. It was called Association Speaker of Tomorrow. And this gentleman was very involved.
Sounds like a bad Disney ride.
Well, it was very interesting because he was very involved in the American Society of Association Executives, ASAE, and he was one of our NSA colleagues. He did a survey of thousands of association executives and meeting planners and for folks like that. And the question was, one among his many research questions, how do you prefer the first contact from a speaker? What he found was that about 15% of meeting planners and people in our target market preferred a phone call. 40% preferred an email. Now, here's you and me, and we're trying to get into this market. Now we have this research. Am I going to be excited about picking up the phone no matter what goober tells me? Oh, you got to use the phone, and I use cold calling to build my business, and it's all about calling, and you got to get on the phone. No, you don't. If only 15% of your target market wants to hear from you initially through that channel, but 40% wants to get an email, folks, hello, wake up. Send the email, send the channel that they prefer to receive on.
Well, I'm glad to know that, because what I do is I send the email out as almost permission to call. Mm-hmm. That way, because the meeting planners, it makes perfect sense because they're busy.
Exactly.
They're out at locations. They're at convention centers. They're at hotels. They're at banquet halls.
Juggling a million balls in the air at the same time.
But they're not in their office anyways.
Right.
And so it makes perfect sense for that. It's just that a lot of the times you may not, like a brand new speaker, especially when they still haven't started out and they don't really know their niche yet. And I was even talking to Anastasia Trishetta. She's a great niche in dental, but she's finding that she's having some roadblocks. And I'm almost like, you need to unniche to some degree, because if you go down a dead-end street, you got to turn around.
That's true. That's true.
And I think what I hear is a lot of marketing is, especially the people who are unlike you, who are just people who just regurgitate a lot of the other stuff. You have to use the phone. Here's how to use the phone. There is no one size fits all, but there's got to be a way it can work for you.
Yes.
And if it's not working for you, you have to admit that. I think a lot of people are afraid to say, hey, this is not working.
Listen, that is true not just of our speaking colleagues, but any executive, any independent professional, any salesperson. Think about a jumbo jet flying across the country. And it's on autopilot. So as the jumbo jet is going across the country, let's say it's going from New York to Los Angeles, it spends less than 10% of the time aimed in the right direction. It spends 90% of the time making these little micro adjustments, 3 degrees left, 2 degrees right, 4 degrees left, and 5 degrees right, until it finally gets from point A to point B. If we fail to make adjustments, and what you're talking about when you're going down a dead end, you got to turn around, something's not working, you got to try something else. I think people make two mistakes, two different categories of mistakes, whether it's a sales effort or a marketing effort. One is not experimenting at all and thinking that they know the right way. And folks, there is no one right way. There's 500 right ways, and there's many, many paths that will get you there. Many paths up the mountain. Is that a jingo?
It's
Lingo?
starting to sound like it.
Okay, yeah.
If it's not, it will be.
Up the mountain-licious. And it's the easy-licious. Mountain-rific.
For a marketing person, all you go for is the licious part.
I have very few little lingo tricks.
Bootylicious is the next one I'm waiting for.
Yeah. Shazam. All right. So there is failing to make any kind of adjustment. Then there's making a million adjustments. And instead of an autopilot, you start to zig and zag, and you never let anything get some traction, get some momentum. I'll give you a quick example here. The gentleman I used to work with, shall remain nameless, he would say, I'm trying to make phone calls, and no one returns my phone calls. I said, well, how many messages did you leave? 1. Oh, wow, yeah, you're right, so the phone's not working for you. Okay, so let's move on. What's next? Blogging. I tried blogging for about a month, and I haven't gotten a shred of business out of blogging. I'm moving on. Email marketing. Oh, man, I sent out 3 emails last month. Did you get any business? No, email marketing must not work. So it's this kind of symptomatic, try this, try that, try this, try that, and you never give anything a chance to stick.
And that's the thing I think that most people have the misguided expectation of, is that they think that, especially in marketing, if I have the great logo, if I can just find that slogan, if I start blogging 3 days later, I'll be flooded with people who just love me.
With checks. Not just instant following, but instant revenue.
Yeah.
Let's not forget.
There's a lot of time you have to invest in it. And I think that can be a little frustrating for people. I mean, I've been in that situation where it's like, I was blogging for a long time, and it wasn't really getting me any direct benefit. Mm-hmm. It ended up being a lot of my book, so it did actually help, and I actually went in with that mindset going, hey, if nobody reads it, even better, because then I can edit it and allow it to be part of my book. Right. So I'm not wasting time, I'm just not gathering clients.
But even that thought process right there, Craig, that is a strategic investment of your time, effort, and energy. You're saying, okay, I'm going to take this, let's say blogging, which is a great example that you just mentioned in your own world, and, either it's going to have a positive impact, A, I'm going to start to get some attention, raise my visibility, raise my credibility, raise my Google juice, my search engine optimization.
None of that happened.
Well, but maybe it did.
No, it can for some people.
That was leg number one of the strategy. Yeah. Leg number two of the strategy is what else can I do with the same content? What else can I do with the same effort? Once I've built it, how else can I recycle, repurpose, redeploy it? So even if strategy A doesn't work, I take the same material and I have a plan B. Yeah, I can still benefit from it.
I always like to know, what can I do with the ashes of the ruined idea?
Exactly.
Because I like to have a backup plan.
Exactly.
A lot of people like to wing it. In fact, I saw that the other day you're like, my new goal is just to say whatever, which is great for you. I would,
which is great for you.
Yeah, I would
be a for failure.
No,
for me.
I'd be a nervous wreck. I can't. Right. I'm not a kind of person that will stop doing what they're doing and go, I'll never do it.
Right.
It's just that I need a little bit more. Whatever for me is scary, and not even scary, but I've done the whatever before.
Me too.
Didn't always work out. It has worked out in some places.
Yeah.
It has gone horribly wrong in others.
Yes.
So I have no problems with people who do that.
Marriage, children, that kind of thing.
That worked.
Okay, good.
Except for the children, because we didn't want children.
Okay, good.
But I mean, I've picked up and moved more times than I even care to admit, with not knowing a person, not having a contact, without a job, just up and gone. And, sometimes that worked. Other times it was a horrible failure.
Yeah.
And it's one of those things where I learned over time, well, maybe if I'm going to just pack up and move, have one or two things in place.
Sure.
I don't have to have an entire situation, but I like to have one or two ripcords.
Yes.
The ripcords may not work, but I'd like to have something that makes me feel a little bit better, that in case I fall.
Yeah.
In marketing, what's the fallback? And give me a fallback in marketing.
Part-time job, Starbucks.
That's fine.
Yeah.
There's absolutely nothing wrong with people.
Pretty much
it. Maybe not at Starbucks. Maybe staying with your job until you feel comfortable enough to jump.
Yes, absolutely. Let me go back one quick moment, only because you mentioned about failure and falling on your face.
Yeah, go ahead.
I'm going to quote one of the great sages of our time, Joe Malarkey, the world's worst motivational speaker. He says that even successful people fail regularly. They just don't stay there very long.
Yeah, I have a whole chapter in my book about failure and how it's great.
I love failure because failure just punches you in the face and gets you back going in a different direction towards the next failure.
It's definitely a learning process.
Yes.
I mean, if you don't accept that you're going to fail, then you are living a useless life in a bubble.
Yes.
But you have to make sure that some failures aren't the Titanic kind of failures.
Right. Well, very few failures are the Titanic.
Well,
they can.
No, well, that's true. But they can. Certain failures can spiral you off into, especially if you don't take the time and effort to learn what happened.
Oh yeah.
Which a lot of people don't want to do. I mean, I hear it on the news all the time. We're looking forward, especially people who've just done something horribly stupid. And they go, well, we're going to look forward, and I'm not going to dwell in the past. You better look back in the past, because if you don't, you're going to screw up again.
We're going to look forward to when this media coverage is over of this train wreck, and we can move on.
This is called stalling.
That's right.
So I have no problem with failure. It's just that I don't think people actually plan for failure. And I don't think that's a bad thing to plan. Say, hey, like I said.
Oh no. Well, let's talk about that, because you mentioned the Titanic, and back when I was speaking on every which possible topic about 6, 7, 8 years ago, I used the following story. I talked about the Titanic specifically, And I said, what was the problem with what was the failure of the Titanic? I mean, well, they hit the iceberg. No, it wasn't about the iceberg.
They got 5 or 6 failures.
But the primary failure, because here's what they were thinking. We have the finest boat, the finest engineering. We have the finest crystal, the finest china. We've hired the finest crew and the finest captain. Everything is the finest, the ultimate, the most luxurious. The only thing that never entered their mind was failure. They failed to plan for failure. Things like lifeboats, things like life jackets, well, yeah, they're a little set dressing just to make people feel better. Do we have enough of them? Well, no, not really. If this boat sank with a full complement, would there be enough of those things? No, not really.
Why?
It's never going to sink. It's never going to sink.
It's the unsinkable ship.
It's unsinkable.
There's enough for the rich people.
Maybe.
Maybe. That's true. I don't think they had enough even for all the rich people.
I don't think they did. But I mean, that kind of thing where, and so think about high-risk, high-stakes professionals, people like firefighters, EMS, SWAT teams, police, all those folks, the military. They have not only Plan A and Plan B, they go all the way through the alphabet. They go, okay, Plan A, B, C, D, E, F, G. Think about a SWAT team, right? SWAT team or some military force off in a foreign country. Do you think it occurs to them, okay, we're going to be extracted by helicopter? Okay, sounds good. What if the helicopter blows up? Oh, it's never going to blow up.
Well,
don't worry about it.
Yeah, and that's why they didn't rescue people from 9/11 from the top of the World Trade Center with helicopters, because you can't do it.
You can't do it
without killing everybody on board.
That's right.
So if the people
they think through all that scenario plan, like 17 different failures, they still got it going on, and they'll still come out, with some level of success.
Right, because at some point you do have to take a risk.
Right.
And there's a difference between a risk and just doing it.
Winging it.
Yeah, because winging it can cause... I wing it all the time. That's part of my shtick, so to speak.
Yes.
When I speak, I have an outline, and when clients come up and see me afterwards, they go, oh, you were great. Do you do the same thing? I'm like, sort of. If you
Right.
Because I just spoke the other day, and they had a person who had seen me before about 2 years ago. And when they came up, they're like, oh, that was completely different. It kind of was.
Mm-hmm.
It's the same outline, but I do wing it, so I do have I take a risk, but I have a backup plan.
Sure.
And I don't think people do that with marketing. I think it's like it's all in or all out.
Well, that's a great point. Not only is it all in or all out, it's all in without a lot of knowledge or planning or forethought or, what's really the impact. So I'll give you another quick example since we're, marketing again and sales. I've got a guy that I'm not working with, but he's, everyone cries on my shoulder. It's like, oh, David, marketing sucks and selling sucks and life sucks.
You're like
fine.
You're like a dentist when if people come up going, hey, what is this? This hurts every time I eat chocolate. What is that?
That's a caraway seed stuck in your teeth.
It's like, please leave me alone.
So the guy says, I'm doing two things. Number one, I'm leaning really hard on all of my referral sources. And I'm like, well, how's that working for you? Well, not really good. No, think about that for a second. I'm leaning really hard. I'm like pressuring my referral sources.
Yeah, the people who want you back, you're alienating.
Yeah, that's good. And I said, okay, well, what else are you doing? I'm also blasting out 500 postcards at a time. So on one level, he's up at 50,000 feet doing the spray and pray, blast out the 500 postcards, see where they land. He says, I haven't gotten anything out of direct mail, out of these postcards. I said, and how many waves of these postcards have you sent? He goes, 3 or 4. I said, well, great. When do you plan to stop? Because it ain't working. You gave it a fair shake. It ain't working. And then it's like, okay, so now we're going back to the leaning on the referral sources. I said, well, do they like being leaned on? No, they're starting to kind of resent it. I said, okay, well, maybe could there be some more things you might do besides, personal hand-to-hand arm wrestling?
Extortion.
On one
That's
hand,
the next level.
Extortion.
Next level is extortion.
Versus batch and blast 500 postcards at a clip. Now, neither one of those things is working because one is going too high and one's going, too low or even in the wrong sense. I mean, hand-to-hand, person-to-person marketing, if you do it out of a sense of value, if you have a relationship, if people do it out of a sense of being an advocate and an ally and a supporter of your work because they love you, not because you're beating on them. That can work. And so here's the interesting thing, Craig. We could be cracking on tactics and silly mistakes and misjudgments.
Well, sure, we're all going to make those.
I don't know how long this interview is going to be, but we could spend hours. And maybe we will. Maybe we will spend hours.
We'll run out of computer space in a minute.
But doing no pressure.
No,
but doing the right things in the right way for the right reasons. That I think is the key.
Well,
if something's not working, stop doing it.
Well, that's the Holy Trinity though, because not everybody knows one out of those three.
True.
And that's the hard part, because you kind of need all three to work. But if you don't know one of them, that's when we rely on people like you to point us in the right direction.
That's right.
So when it comes to marketing, it's just where did you learn all this stuff? I mean, did you get a marketing degree?
I did not, but a lot of people ask me that question. So, did you go to like marketing school or something?
I mean, it seems to be a kind of a fall. Not necessarily. I don't want to be insulting, but it seems like a fallback. It's like marketing and psychology are the two things in business that people, instead of going to liberal arts.
Right.
Which never looks good.
No.
What are you doing? I'm a liberal arts major. Oh, you're wasting your parents' money. No. I'm waiting until I figure out what I want to be.
Indeed.
And then they go, I want to be a marketing person. Because I know you're not a typical marketing person. That's why I'm asking.
Well, so would this be a good time for a 30 or 40 minute biopic?
Not 30 or 40.
How about 30 or 40 seconds?
No, we can go a couple. I just don't want, 30, 40, if this is turning into this is David Newman's life. I just wanted to get an idea of what your background is, because
the name of this show again is
With Craig Price. Oh, I'm sorry. Reality Check.
Reality Check with David Newman and Craig Price, featuring Craig Price occasionally.
I'll put that in the marketing when I go out.
And my name's above the title, is that correct?
Not for the money you're paying, no.
Okay, got it.
It's not in your contract. But no, but I mean, I think...
so where did this craziness come from?
No, it's not craziness. I think you have a valid perspective, and that's unusual. So that's why I want to know where you gathered all this, because I'm sure you were marketing for somebody at some point.
Well, it's interesting. So here's the quick story in a nutshell. And all the mistakes that you just mentioned, I made. So started out pre-med.
No, that's great.
Right, in school.
Oh, pre-med.
Then I graduated majoring in drama and English. Talk about liberal arts. Woohoo! Yeah. Not only was that so much fun, I then went to graduate school in New York City, and I have an MFA, a Master of Fine Arts degree in stage directing.
Oh, wow.
That's right, theater directing.
You can make a mint.
Yeah, just for the money. I purely went into this for financial gain.
I'm sure your parents are so proud.
People go to Wall Street, people could become lawyers. I became a theater director.
I went to New York to become a comic, so my parents were disappointed right out the bat. So.
Exactly. We probably did some of the same gigs: Manhattan Punchline, Theater Row,
Cellar,
sleazy bars,
the Comedy Cellar.
Sure.
Oh yeah, all that stuff. New York
times.
Stand Up. Oh, I mean, I was lucky enough to do some like Carolines and some actual deals,
some real gigs.
Some real. I wasn't headlining, but I was actually.
You were on stage there. You felt the brick wall.
Yeah, I was there without actually having to bring 10 people. That's the other thing, is the bringer show. Imagine speakers had to do bringer shows, and they do. That's called seminars. That's called doing seminars, which is why I don't do them.
Or it's called NSA, perhaps. I don't know.
Yeah. You and bring 10 friends.
You brought me. I brought you. That's how it works, buddy.
I brought myself, but that's okay.
That's true. That's true.
But so you were
yes. So there I was, and I did professional theater in New York City for 4 years. You might say storytelling. That's part of marketing, and I would agree with you. Then I did 10 years in corporate America, doing technology, professional services. I worked for big firms like Towers Perrin and PeopleSoft, and doing a lot of internal consulting, training, speaking. Went out on my own in 2001. Made every mistake in the book. So when you say, well, where'd that marketing knowledge come from? It came from pretty much doing everything wrong and getting Fs on all the tests and just being a moron.
I find that more valid than getting a degree.
You know what I tell people now, 10 years later? I said, listen, if you work with me, the good news is all the mistakes, all the places you can overspend, underspend, misspend, make all the crazy mistakes. You don't have to, because I've already done them for you. So now we can focus on what's actually going to work and what's actually going to create results. Now, so, is that an MBA in the School of Hard Knocks? I don't know.
Hey, that's absolutely valid. I find people, that's the problem with a lot of professional speakers that I've run into, is they get a communications degree.
Yeah.
They are very well spoken. They go to Toastmasters a couple times, and they invent an expertise.
Yes.
And they're just carbon copies of other things, and it's like, you have no idea how this stuff works, do you?
Right.
You read it in a book, and you found a way to wedge it into your signature story, which is a bunch of crap anyways.
Right. Didn't I read this in the Stephen Covey book? This story sounds kind of familiar.
Yeah,
7 Habits.
Well, I like Stephen Covey. He said 7 Habits, and then these are the definitive 7. Oh, wait a second. Here's an 8th one.
Extra book.
Yeah, and then
And then he has kids, and so now you have little Stephen Covey.
Oh, I saw him.
Speed of Trust. Woo! That's a great book, by the way.
I saw him actually give the time management because he and Franklin Covey.
Yes.
I saw him do the actual. Because he's from Utah, I was living in Utah at the time. I worked where I was in a situation where I saw a lot of speakers.
Sure.
A lot of horrible speakers.
Yes, indeed. Well, Stephen Covey's a terrible speaker.
Well, he was all right, but he was also not giving a presentation. He was doing training.
Yeah.
He was showing how his process.
Is there any chance that he'd be listening to this with me calling him a terrible speaker?
Oh, he's a terrible speaker.
Okay, there you go.
And,
all right.
and his system is convoluted.
Yeah.
It's like a beautiful mind. If if I was looking at it, and there's triangles and there's circles and there's dots and dashes, and it's like.
It's like watching the John Madden football screen thing where he's like drawing the play.
Yeah, and
it's like, woo, back
and that's
there.
pretty sad because John Madden is not the brightest, light bulb in the sky.
No.
And I have dyslexia, so for me to do all that is just to watch it. It was confusing. He did a good job of presenting
It's like a dog watching fireworks.
Yeah. Oh yeah. It's like a little child watching a magic show. It's like they'll give you that glazed over look, like, oh my God, I saw a miracle. Wow. But I have no idea what that is. And then 3 seconds later, you forgot it.
Yeah.
But all that management stuff, and then they got like the 4-hour work week, which is a bunch of crap unless you're $1 million an hour person, because you have to outsource all that stuff.
Yes,
I read that going, oh, I'd love a 4-hour work week. Well, it took 5 hours to read the book. So there goes my work week.
That's week number one. Read the book.
That's week number one and the first day of the next week.
That's right. First day of the next week.
Yeah, and then he's talking about, well, if you hire these people and you hire that people, and I think that's what a lot of marketing people are hearing. If you outsource a lot of this stuff.
Yeah, but that's a great point. You can't outsource the thinking.
No, that's what I mean.
You can outsource the doing. Like once you have a strategy for any of these tactics, whether it's direct mail or internet marketing, search engine optimization, blogging, social media, anything, seminars, personal networking, you can. And Tim Ferriss is an interesting example because he outsourced his dating life. Remember that, right?
Have you actually listened to him talk?
I have.
He's kind of arrogant.
He's a little arrogant.
I can't imagine a woman would actually date them, maybe by proxy.
Yes.
Dating by proxy works for that.
Well, and I think he tried that out. He had someone on Match.com doing his profile, responding on his behalf. It was crazy.
That's a great way to meet someone for the long term.
It is.
Pretending to be someone else.
He's a big-hearted sweetheart. He's just like a teddy bear.
Well, I don't want
to. Some kind.
I guess. Go ahead. I don't want to ruin. I don't want to talk bad about people. I have no problems with it.
I'm not sure what I was talking about. Was I on a roll here somewhere?
You were, but you were talking about.
Oh, about me and the mistakes, or
yeah, we were talking about how other people.
Oh.
Marketing. We can do this, and this will happen from time to time because I'm a tangent guy. We were talking about how other people see what other people do for marketing.
Right. And they say, ooh, I want to do that.
Yeah, and it's really about they implement someone else's plan without thinking about what they have to do.
That's right. Well, that's a great way to put it. And as soon as we look at that kind of thing, imagine walking into someone else's house, walking into their clothes closet, and just starting to put on their clothes. It would make just about as much sense, and you would look just about as silly as Lock, Stock, and Barrel adapting someone's adopting wholesale someone else's thing. Now, adapting, on the other hand, is great because that means that you're going to take from the buffet table what works for you and leave the rest. What I tell people is, listen, anytime you're at a cocktail party or you're at an industry event and someone says, I have found the magic bullet. I have found the secret sauce to sales or to marketing. Put on some earmuffs. Imagine you have some metaphorical earmuffs, and the earmuffs add to every phrase like that, for me.
Yeah.
So they say, I found what works in marketing, for me. I found what works in sales, for me. I think postcards are going to be the key to success, for me. It's like, well, okay, that's you. That's in your business with your personality, your preferences, and most importantly, that's for your target market. What's going to work for your target market? If you sell to insurance agents, that's great. If I sell to stay-at-home moms, whatever you're doing with insurance agents, no matter how great it works for you, I bet 70% of it's not going to transfer to a different buyer population.
I think that's generous.
Yeah, exactly. Maybe 99% of it won't work.
I find that people forget that other people have different skill sets as well.
Sure.
Different experiences that they go out and buy the books. They buy the consultants who are just run-of-the-mill average folks who don't take the time to actually, like your system, and I'm not here to shill for you, but your system...
Why not?
Well, because you're not paying me.
Got it.
But your system is good because you force people to actually think about how is it going to work with your business. It's not a step-by-step, here's what you got to do. There is some steps, like if you're this type of speaker, or you're this type of industry, or you're this kind of niche, here's some things that may work for you.
Right.
But it's not, if you are in an industrial niche and you speak to, heat and air conditioning repairmen, you would do this. It's not like that. Because there are people who will sell that stuff, and I think a lot of speakers, and that's why we do the podcast, is I'm trying to help people, not just speakers, because I'm hoping to broaden this out, but it just people's walks of life. They feel that it's a lot easier than it looks. So they think the marketing's going to be a lot easier. If I just buy the book on marketing, I will go get Marketing for Dummies.
Right.
And do that.
I'm going to print up some sell sheets, build a little website, boom, boom, boom. I'm in business.
Little Google AdWords.
Little Google AdWords, little Facebook ads.
Yeah.
Woohoo! The checks will start pouring in.
Yeah. But it's not like that at all.
No.
Because one of the marketing things that I've seen is how much are you into the internet marketing?
I'm going to give myself a medium.
A medium
on that.
Okay, because I've gotten one thing from it, like 2 years ago, and it was enough to subsidize advertising for a long time.
Right.
And that's exactly what I did. I went, this came in from nowhere.
Right.
It's money from heaven, so to speak, but it came from Google. I will kind of refocus some of that, because obviously it seems that's proof that it worked.
Well, internet
not that
marketing,
it's working, but it proved.
Right, and that's a pretty big bucket, by the way. So
it's a huge bucket.
There's pay-per-click advertising, there's search engine optimization, there's some things that you're doing electronically through the internet. For example, your website, your blog, all of that kind of attraction, inbound marketing. You can put out YouTube videos, you can do social bookmarking sites, you can do all sorts of things as far as email marketing, which is also quote unquote internet, because it goes, so that's a big bucket, and for us to sit here going, well, how much are you into the internet marketing? I think in today's landscape, you can't do marketing without a serious online component, whether that's through a website or through social media or through email marketing or through any of those channels.
Because I do know that you have a lot of, you have like 4 or 5 different websites, because you do a lot of different things.
That's right.
Not only do you do marketing in general, you do marketing for speakers.
That's right.
I think you just kind of started up not necessarily an agency. So
it is an agency.
Is it?
I didn't
want to alienate anybody who's in an agency who might hire you.
It's not the B word.
It's not a B word. And for those of you who don't know, that's a bureau.
Right. It's not.
Not a bureau.
No.
Because a bureau, just to clarify, because there's a lot of people who are not speakers listening to this.
Oh my God.
A bureau, in my opinion, these are people actively looking for events, not speakers.
Right.
So they're actively looking for events. They get an event, and they look into their pool of speakers.
Correct.
And say, hey, this one's a good fit. Where I've got a speaker, let me go find events for this particular speaker.
Right. And the way I characterize it, just in case there are any professional speakers listening.
Oh, I'm sure there will be. They all love you, David.
Thank you. A bureau serves as a mass buying agent who works on behalf of their buyers, their clients that hire us. The agency, which is called Red Arrow, by the way.
Oh, go ahead and fill
we work. So redarrow123.com.
See, there you go.
Thank you. We work on behalf of speakers as dedicated sales agents. That's the difference. So it's not, find the gig and fill the slot. It's really looking out in the marketplace as the eyes and ears, the sales and marketing eyes and ears of our speakers.
So you have to pretty much entrench yourself in what the speaker is.
Exactly.
What they do.
It's so funny that you say that. We call that the marination process.
Oh, isn't that nice?
And we actually do have a marination process where we embed ourselves in that speaker's thought leadership platform and their empire, and so we can articulate their fabulousness to the marketplace.
And what kind of process? Because that seems to be very research heavy. It's not something you just like send them a 2-page questionnaire and boom,
send me the headshot and your one sheet and we're off to the races.
Yeah.
Which again, that's how the B people work. I don't even like to say their name, so it's the B people. Think about hiring. If you're a professional speaker, coach, consultant, and you want to leverage speaking, think about hiring your own dedicated in-house salesperson. What would you do to orient them to your business? What would, they would probably read your book. They would obviously get intimately familiar with all of your web presence.
Hopefully watch you actually perform somewhere, even on video if it has to be.
Right. They would immerse themselves in your video assets, your DVDs, whatever you might have as far as archived material, audio programs, video programs, PowerPoints. And they would just really, as much as another person can get inside your head, they would get inside your head, and then looking out in the marketplace, we would also figure out, well, where do you want to go? Again, getting back to our fabulous earlier discussion about, this is
call back.
You can't call back. Who are your best audiences? Who are the kinds of industries, the kinds of associations where your message and your topic and your expertise resonates the most? And then most importantly, I think, what are some of your dream exposure opportunities? Where would you love to speak and to present that either because of lack of time or lack of bandwidth or lack of focus, you simply haven't been able to climb that mountain yet? So a lot of folks say, well, I'm in the insurance industry, and the be-all, end-all of our insurance industry is the $1 Million Roundtable. So I want to speak at MDRT. How do I do that? How do I, think of it as, the other way I look at it is, think of it as a public relations firm, only it's not a public relations firm because that works to get you in front of the media.
It's a speakers relations firm.
It's a speaker relations firm that gets you paid speaking.
Exactly. I think we broke the made-up word barrier right there. That's a good one, though.
Speaker relations firm? Yeah, thank you.
You can have that one.
Easy-licious.
But that not only adds to your expertise, because you have to see a lot of bad marketing.
Oh, my God.
I mean, without naming names, just...
Oh, I'll name names.
Okay, feel free. I mean, I would love to name names.
Because they haven't paid the fee.
We've already, the Ferris kid, we got Covey. Is there anybody else we can piss off in this interview?
Exactly.
I mean, I love Zig Ziglar but some of his stuff that he says just doesn't make sense to me.
Yeah.
So... we'll just rip anyone.
He's been around a long time.
I know.
He's a real veteran.
Oh, he's great. Like I said,
has some health issues, I think.
Well, he's a great performer.
Yes. He's like Frank Sinatra now in the later years. It's just
except he won't get you killed.
You're right.
I don't think so.
You never know.
So let's get back, because I don't want to crap on all the speakers but you've had to see some bad marketing. Give me an example of some pretty horrendous marketing you've seen.
And this will be funny because either if you hire speakers or if you are a speaker, you'll be able to put your hands on this kind of material in about 5 seconds. The crappiest, most horrendous kind of marketing is when you go to, and this is true of any kind of professional services, me, my programs, my services, my products, me. I love working with so-and-so. My best clients are, my. It's like, dude, I'm the reader. I'm the buyer. I'm the guy with the checkbook. You going to spend any time talking about me? No. But so it's the self-centered, and if you're in a product business, it's product-centered marketing. It's just people don't care about you. That's one of the big sales and marketing aha moments, that people don't give a rat's ass about you.
I now can put the first explicit market on my podcast.
Rat's tushy.
It's all right.
They don't give a rat's ass about you and me. So here's the secret to good marketing and how to take some of that horrible marketing that's so self-centered, so product-centered, so service-centered, so much about your approaches and your methodologies and your models. No one cares. Speak prospect language about prospect problems. Have them slap their forehead and go, wow, this guy gets it. This guy understands what I'm going through, and he knows how to fix it. Because he's spending 80% of his marketing time talking about me.
Yeah, and then in this business that we're in as speakers, I mean, it's not like this in all businesses, but I know that salespeople have a tendency of being a little egocentric.
A little self-centered?
But I think a lot of the good salespeople are both. They can be egocentric, narcissistic types.
That's a great point.
Who do focus on the customer's needs.
And they know when to shift.
Yeah. It's just that when they go to the customer, they treat them really great, and then they come back and crap on all the help they have.
Yeah.
Or the office, or the whatever. So I can see that. It's just that, when it comes to, I just had it in my head. Now I'm going to have to edit. Oh, I always have to. But it's all about me.
I think you should probably leave this in.
No, I don't edit. That's for people who know what they're doing.
Oh, I'm sorry.
But we're talking about how it's all me driven, and I think in this business there's a lot of people who think. I mean, I think I am the commodity
because a lot of what I do is personality based. But I try not to market me first.
You're the conduit to value.
Yeah, well, when I start talking about me, I'm the added value.
Mm-hmm.
They like my content, and then I tell them, well, guess what? I really don't market myself as a humorist because I'm not that funny. I'm pretty good for public speaking.
Yeah.
But I like to pull that card out at the last second because then it's like, oh, I love what he's got to say. And I learned that from you to some degree, is that, Craig, shut up. It shouldn't be called Reality Check with Craig Price. It should be called Reality Check. But since I'm going to be talking with different people, I want them to know at least the one person.
You're the through line.
I am their conduit, as you said.
Yes, I'm conduit to value.
I'm Joe Schmo. I want to be I'm the audience. So I'm learning stuff now. That's one of the reasons I'm doing this is I am an idiot, and I say that all the time. I'm just stupid at certain things.
Yes,
and the only way I can learn is from asking.
Yes.
Which a lot of people won't do.
Well, can I do a little mini soundbite?
You can do whatever
here?
you want.
I'll do whatever I want. To your point about I'm so stupid, people say, oh my God, you know so much more than I do. I said, you know what? I really don't. Here's any of us that are in the thinking professions where we sell our time and talent and expertise for a fee. We don't know more than anyone else necessarily. I like to think we know different. We know different things. So you're a genius at some things that I'd be hopeless at.
Oh, that's true. I am a genius.
I hopefully am a genius at some things that other people. So, when people hire us, and this is also true if you're looking for a job, you're not going to be hired by IBM because you're smarter than any current IBM employee. I doubt that you are. You're probably a goober. But you know different. You have a unique skill set that they need to tap into when you hire a coach or you hire a speaker or you hire a consultant or you go to hire an employee. You're hiring them because they have a different skill set than what's currently on board, and you want to add their genius to the mix. Yeah. So don't beat yourself up saying, I'm so stupid.
Well, see, that's the thing. I don't beat myself up.
I'll beat you up.
That's fine. You can. I don't. See, I'm one of the few people that I go, I'm an idiot.
Sure.
And they go, well, don't beat yourself up. And I go,
well, actually, you're not one of the few people that say that.
Well, no, but
there's a lot of people that say that.
And most of them behind my back. Right. But I like it when they say it up front.
Okay.
But I'm an idiot. But I don't dwell on that fact. I embrace the fact I don't know things, which a lot of people are afraid to do.
Yes.
Not that I'm better than them. I think differently.
Yeah.
I don't like it when people tell me how great a job I did. I'd rather them tell me what I did wrong so I can improve.
Sure.
So that's just my weird psychosis. So don't think I'm beating up myself. But I don't think enough people will admit that they need help.
Oh, not at all. Well, and this is also true, another sales and marketing truism. The people that need us the most, whatever product, service, etc. that you're selling, the people that need it the most will never buy it because they lack that self-recognition. They lack oh no, we got it taken care of. We're good. It's like, no, you're not. Your business, your company, your employees, they're crumbling, but you're just too goofy to see it, or you're too arrogant, or you're too complacent to see it, so they're not a good prospect to buy your product, buy your service, buy you, buy me, etc. And this is very frustrating. You say, oh no, I could really help your company. I could really help your people. It's like,
please love me.
We don't need it. We don't need it. And as much as you're desperate because you see all the gaps, they don't see the gaps. They're not self-aware enough. They're not a good client for you. Move on.
Yeah. Absolutely, and I personally have that problem because I speak on the gaps. That's my job, is to highlight gaps, and so I have to convince people before they hire me. Afterwards, it's easy.
Sure.
It's easy to come back because they can recognize the immediate value after I've spoken, but I've got to get that deal first.
Right.
And so that's where all my issues come in. And I understand that. I don't expect to be $1 million speaker. I will take it, but I don't expect that.
Right.
Like I said, I make a good living at it. The point is I need to make sure that I'm open to get help.
Oh, totally.
And
As we all do.
And I think a lot of people don't do that. And I think they think this is going to be real. So I appreciate your help, personally.
My pleasure.
Where can people find you?
doitmarketing.com. And doitmarketing.com. If you're a speaker, that's doitmarketing.com. If you hire speakers, I recommend redarrow123.com.
And if you're just a regular person who's running a company and needs some marketing help,
doitmarketing.com.
Right. Well, David, I appreciate you being here.
Thank you, sir.
I think we can market this.
I think we can market the dog out of this one. Be awesome.
I want to thank David for being on the show, and I guess since we had a marketing program, Let's do some marketing right now. You can find us at realitycheckpodcast.com, where you can sign up for the newsletter. You can also subscribe to us on the RSS feed or click on the iTunes logo and subscribe to us through iTunes. You can also like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter, and of course, if you have any comments or suggestions, Craig at speakercraigprice.com.